Welcome back to a Celtic State of Mind on this Sunday afternoon. I'm Paul John Dykes, and today I'm delighted to be joined by Kevin McCluskey, Sean Connolly and Liam Carrigan to talk about the first half of St Johnstone 1, Celtic 3. I'm going to come to Sean first because you predicted 3-1 full-time. We got it all in the first half. We've seen games like that before, Sean, when not much happens in the second half. What do you make of that first half performance?
I thought it was brilliant. I just really enjoy watching Celtic play these days. Like every game, I'm going into just optimistic, looking forward to it. Not every game because I'm never ever going to go into a Sevco game optimistic or like just I'm too scarred by that. But like every other game, I just go into just really looking forward to watching Celtic play, and they've even despite a poor pitch, despite whatever other circumstances, we just looked good. There was just so many moments of entertainment and brilliance. It's like I don't think I mean, there's obviously so many highs and lows around winning and losing, but in terms of entertainment from pure football, I don't think it's been this good since 1995 when we had Cadete, Van Hooijdonk, Tom, Di Canio.
You're right, because it's a different brand of football. I mean, people will point to the teams built under Martin O'Neill and Brendan Rodgers, but that entertainment that Tommy Burns gave us and which Ange Postecoglou gives us, Liam, is what we are seeing in full flow, despite a pitch that must be pretty difficult to play on.
Yeah, not the best of conditions at all. But no, I've been saying for a long time we should have summer football in Scotland, and I think this just re-emphasises the point. You won't get pitches like that if we're playing games in July and August as opposed to January and February. But no, that's obviously not one that the football authorities are considering, despite the fact that the World Cup last year gave us a perfect chance to do it. But anyway, that's another story. No, good game so far. St Johnston's goal, I think, was a very, very well taken goal as well. Give them credit where it's due, but we bounced back almost immediately and restored that 2-goal cushion. Good performances all round. That Moy finish was just exquisite, wasn't it? I mean, it really was. That was a thing of beauty. Credit to Andrew Considine. 1 goal, 1 assist. He's on a good game today.
He's doing okay, for sure.
Yeah.
Sean Fairley picks up on the pitch as well. Why are pitches in Scotland so bad? Liam's provided a resolution to that. Why don't we play the football at a different time? I mean, there's so many different reasons for it, Liam. Obviously, the conditions for the supporters, but also the conditions for the players. And it would also help the clubs out, the groundsmen. I mean, imagine coming in on the Monday after that, or at Hampden last month, and having to sort it out for the next game. It must just be an ongoing battle for them as well.
Aye. I mean, the idea of having 2 games in the same weekend at the same pitch, like we do at Hampden, is utter nonsense anyway. National Stadium or not, we don't need to have 2 games in 2 days on the same pitch. That's just that's nonsense.
Yeah,
we could also really increase our revenue from TV if we could offer Sky Sports a product in June and July when they've nothing else to show.
Exactly.
Good shout. Yep. Absolutely. I don't see a reason for not doing it. You know, it's got to the point where I can't see the for staying as is, maintaining the status quo. Brown Man Revival, Moy and Kyogo are right on it today. They certainly are. Hatate having a day to forget. I would put in brackets so far. Kalmack struggling to find space a little, so kudos to St Johnstone on a decent press. They are obviously pressing Kevin McCluskey. What do you make of Brown Man Revival's points? Obviously, Moy and Kyogo have been superb in that first half. Hatate, you said it. Sometimes he has matches like today's, you know, the way he plays ball. Someone else suggested the way he and Jota play might be affected more by the state of the pitch. But Hatate obviously was caught in possession for St Johnstone's goal. As brilliant as it was, you try and find how we could have prevented it. Hatate was caught in possession. Is he having such a bad game, do you think?
He's not even one of his best games. I don't know if I'd go so far as to say he's having a game to forget, but it's definitely not been one of his kind of vintage performances. But I think the point we were making at the start of the pre-match is that he is that kind of player. He plays a high-risk, high-reward game, and the risk you play with that is if it's not coming off, it makes him look as if he's having a stinker. But he's been involved in quite a few actually, the decent moves that we've put together. And as I say, he'll keep on going for the 90 minutes or for as long as he's on the park. And the chances are that the longer he's on, the more chance he will get to actually set something up. So yeah, I'll go with he's having a poor game at the moment, but he's the kind of player that can turn it around in the second half. And, you know, we've scored 3 in the first half. Why can't we go and get another 2 or 3 in the second? And if we do, there's a very good chance he's going to be involved in creating those goals. But for the other points that were mentioned there, yeah, absolutely. Moy and Kyogo have just been sensational in that half. I could show you my notes if you want, but you have kind of, Sean and Liam, used the exact words I've written down for those goals. Moy's goal, it was an absolute thing of beauty. Like, there's just no other way to describe that. The little dink over the top from Jota to get him in there. Then it's that first touch and composure just to lift it over the keeper. It's absolutely stunning. We spoke about Henrik Larsson before the game, and that was a Larsson-esque finish. You know, it was that calm in front of goal. So those two have been sensational. And actually, although I've been watching the game on the Hungarian TV because they've now started to pick up some of the Scottish games, and my Hungarian is still pretty limited, but the words Larsson and Kyogo have been interchanged at times by the commentator. So I don't know if he was listening to you beforehand, Liam, but there's certainly some sort of consensus that he seems to be the best forward that we've had since Larsson, and his movement today has been reminiscent of things that Henrik used to do. Considine's own goal, I think it is Kyogo making that run from kind of middle to front post, the one that Larsson used to make all the time. And then you get a goal from it. So, yeah, I think it's been a very, very positive first half. Sean called it as well, that after we lost the goal, it didn't interrupt the way we were playing. We just got straight back on it, controlled the game again, controlled the narrative, got the third. You're sitting there with a 2-goal lead at half time, thinking, again, it's another 3 points. It should be quite secured by the half time point.
You would hope so. You can often tell with the viewing figures whether or not we're doing okay or badly. We've got over 800 watching the stream right now, which is fantastic. Thanks everybody for tuning in. New arrivals and those who have been watching us for a long time, thank you every single one of you. If you want to help us out, give us a wee thumbs up on the YouTube and subscribe to the channel. And also, if you want to come along and see us live with Danny McGrain at Gracie's in Glasgow, you can buy a ticket. There are only 3 left, 3 tickets, and you can buy them underneath this video. The link is there. If you purchase a ticket, you automatically go into a prize draw to win this jersey signed by the one and only Daniel Fergus McGrain. Always a cracking night of tales, insight, and a little bit of Danny humour as well. 1-0 Considine OG. Does that go down as an assist by Kyogo? Do you get the assist? They don't.
Nah, they don't. Nah.
That's a shame, eh? That's a shame for the stats. But we were talking about Kyogo's goal scoring record, Sean, and he's obviously brought it up to 22. He's heading for 30 goals this season. Absolutely sensational since he came in. And obviously, Liam will have known loads about Kyogo. I remember the day we signed him, Colin was doing a live show that particular day, and I'd never heard of him. Obviously, that's just my naivety and lack of knowledge of the Japanese game, Liam. But you have seen a transition. Did you expect it to be so kind of flawless?
Honestly, he's surpassed even what I expected of him. I knew he would be a cracking signing because I'd seen him do the business for Kobe quite a bit before we signed him. But no, there is always that question because the J League has come on leaps and bounds, but it is still probably just a grade below the Scottish Premier League in terms of the overall quality of the top teams. But no, he's made that step up and he's not looked out of place at all. In fact, he's looked like and is, I think, at the moment the best striker in Scotland. So yeah, it's good because not just him, but also Hatate, Maeda, all of our Japanese players. It's a validation because there were, I'm not going to have a go at people, but there were a lot of Celtic fans when Ange came in and when he started signing Japanese players. They were like, Japan, that's that's the middle of nowhere. That's a footballing backwater. They've been at every World Cup that Scotland haven't in the last 25 years, nearly 30 years. They are a developing country that's developing at quite a rapid rate in terms of football. And it's a validation of that, because I think that some fans look down on Japan beforehand with the same attitude that we get angry at English pundits for looking down on Scotland with the same kind of sort of dismissive attitude. And I think, don't show that attitude towards countries you perceive to be smaller, because you know how annoying it is when bigger countries do it to us.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. That's a great point. Ryan Geddes, you're in on the YouTube, a nice avatar. Did anyone see Jota smile when they booed him? Imagine being so good that they boo you. Sheer class. Sean, what do you made of Jota's performance? There's been some criticism in the comments, I've noticed. What do you make of Jota's performance today?
Well, he's an absolute hatchet, man. We need to get him off the pitch. Those vicious tackles that he's been putting in for that yellow card he received are just out of order. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's amazing how this works. That he gets the same punishment that Ryan Jack got for trying to break that boy's ankle last week, and they're on the same kind of level of punishment. It doesn't particularly make any sense to me. But yeah, he's actually not had a great flow, but he's had some great touches. Like, he's not flowing, I think, today, but stuff like the assist for the goal and a few other things, he's kind of in the same vein as Hatate, in that he's kind of trying things, and on that pitch and in an away game, and they're high risk kind of attempts that he's making. So that's your kind of trade-off that you get there. You could make an absolute highlight reel of what Jota does every week, and that assist for that goal would go on there. So I'm not going to give it too tight to him. He's an amazingly talented player, and he's doing well enough in the conditions.
Yeah,
and he's putting in a good fight, as you can tell from the yellow card.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, I've been quite critical of his defensive play. It's cliche to say, oh, that's a striker's tackle, but there's an element of that. Jota's not a great defender, right? But as Sean says, he's getting stuck in. And if you're doing that, then fantastic. I don't think you get away with anything other than that in an Ange Postecoglou side. I want to raise Carl Starfelt, though, Kevin, because it's interesting to me now watching this. This kind of performance that Carl Starfelt plays 2 misplaced passes in the first half, right? And all of a sudden he's having a bad game. Hatate plays 1 misplaced pass, which results in St Johnstone's brilliant goal, by the way, great finish. But Hatate gets off the hook, and Starfelt was definitely on the hook. But when you look at the rest of his actual performance, the way that he's been able to shore it up at the back, he does his usual thing. Other than 2 misplaced passes, I think Starfelt's had a decent game. But it's a perception thing now, isn't it, Kevin? Because Hatate doesn't seem to get it tight, even though it was his misplaced pass that put us under a wee bit of pressure there with St Johnstone scoring. What's the story with Starfelt? I mean, even within Acsom, he still divides opinion, doesn't he?
He does. It seems like every team needs a whipping boy. And unfortunately for Carl Starfelt, he's got it at the moment. He's it. I think it all just comes down to the fact that when we signed him, he was a bit rusty. He was a bit unsure of himself. Maybe didn't cover himself in glory in his first 2-3 games for us. But since then, he has developed into a mainstay in the team for me. And it's why I say when I'm picking the team, you go Carter, Vickers and Starfelt is your back two. And for me, there's no questions asked about that at the moment. The two of them complement each other so well. And I saw the first misplaced pass from Starfelt, and my initial thought was, right, here we go, there'll be a pile on him for that. If they happen to score from something like that, from the throw-in that came from it, it's going to be horrendous for the lad. But his positional play, his covering, I think is fantastic. It's first rate. He doesn't need to go in and make so many of these kind of the old Christopher Ajer sliding challenge that in the last minute, the last seconds to block a shot or something, because he's there already. He just reads the game so well. He intercepts the pass. He wins the header. He's generally been a very, very sound and solid player for us, I think, since those difficult first couple of games. But yeah, I think it is. It's the perception of that. It's those things linger in people's minds, and he becomes the whipping boy, the one that, you know, he maybe does misplace a pass in every game, so it becomes noticeable. But he gets a lot of unjust criticism. So again, as I did in continue to do with Greg Taylor. I'll fly the flag for Carl Starfelt as well and give him a wee bit of praise when he needs it and deserves it, because he is part of the best defence in Scotland, and he's part of it for a reason, because he deserves to be there.
Yeah, for sure. There definitely was an Acsom Greg Taylor Supporters Club for a long, long time. I think it was founded by Amy Canavan. Kevin Graham wanted him to be the captain of the side. Kevin McCluskey and Lawrence Conley were also involved in that racket, but he's were proven right. That's 15 minutes already. It was such a good first half that the time has run away with me there. We'll be back at full time, hopefully, to talk about some more goals in the second half. Thanks, everybody, for getting involved. 800 strong at half time is tremendous, and your support is greatly appreciated by all of us. All that's left for me to say is thank you to Kevin McCluskey, Sean Connolly, and Liam Carrigan for joining me once again on A Celtic State of Mind.